We are live, which is very exciting. Hi, everybody. I'm Julie Skolnick from With Understanding Comes Calm. Let's Talk 2E Conferences and 2eresources.com. And I'm really excited because today I'm hanging out with Frans Corten, who's in the Netherlands and talking to us as an incredible coach for gifted, profoundly gifted, and 2E adults. And you probably know that we launched an amazing first ever conference for gifted 2E and neurodiverse adults earlier last week, a week ago, actually. My goodness, time flies. And Frans became a resource listed at 2eresources.com as a consultant. And he has written an awesome book called Exceptional Talent. It's a guide for the gifted, the inventors, and other birds of a rare feather. So welcome, Frans. We're so glad that you're here with us.
Hi. Good evening.
Yeah, for you, good evening. For we on the East Coast, good afternoon. Maybe for the people on the West Coast, good morning. But anyway, for everybody, come hang out and learn about this awesome work that Frans Corten does with gifted, highly gifted, profoundly gifted 2E adults and work. So Frans, first of all, let's orient people toward 2eresources.com, where you and a bunch of other people are listed as resources for the gifted and 2E community. Why did you want to list at 2eresources.com?
Well, I thought it was a very good idea to have this conference. It was the first time I saw something like this worldwide because of all the problems we have now with the COVID. This is a good idea. And it was also a way for me to show my book to the world, my English book. So that's why I joined your conference.
So glad that you're listed at 2eresources.com. So the book, Exceptional Talent, there's only one thing wrong with this book, Frans, I have to say. And it is that I am just so distracted by the awesome illustrations. Guys, I'm going to show you my favorite. So in this book, Frans has used, or an artist used recycled materials, right? Frans, that's what we're looking at. And they're all birds. This one's my favorite. This is my favorite one. Look at that. All recycled materials. So tell us a little bit about this birds, other birds of a rare feather. What does that have to do with gifted, profoundly gifted 2E adults?
Well, it's always very difficult for me to get such a big problem, no, such a big project to an end. So my discipline is difficult. So therefore I asked these two artists to help me to finish this book. And they said, how can we help you? I said, you can help me by supporting me, but also by making the illustrations. So roughly the book was more or less ready, but then the illustrations were there, all little boxes with the birds in it. And I can show you this, for example, is a part of one of the birds.
Oh, I love it.
And this is another part. Maybe you can't see it very well.
Yeah.
So,
oh, that's so cool.
And this is one of the heads of the bird.
So
and
what is, I mean, you know, we know that we're sort of 1 in a million, or maybe that's not the exact statistic, but I guess that's what you're referring to when you say birds of a rare feather. And this book talks about being gifted and why the workplace might be hard. You have great anecdotal evidence in here, really relatable stories. So tell us a little bit about the impetus for writing this book.
Yeah. Well, first about the birds. It's a Dutch expression. And it's something like, it's not exactly, but strange birds. And that are sometimes birds, but it's also a sort of person who doesn't really fit in. But it's not really negative. It's just, well, it was untranslatable. So
tell us how you say it in Dutch.
Vreemde vogels. And vogel is birds, and vreemd is something like strange. So it was originally about vreemde vogels. And my translator, she has rewritten the whole book. So it's not really translated, but it's rewritten actually, so that the idea comes through very well. But she had to consult several translators for the title of the book because it was so difficult.
Interesting, because we do say in English sort of birds of a feather flock together. So
That's it.
yeah.
That's what she thought about. Yeah. But you asked me about why the book came. Is that true?
Yeah. What's the impetus for writing the book? Sure.
Yeah, but that's unfortunately a sad story. Is that okay?
It's listen, whoever's listening to us, I have no doubt they'll relate. So
Yeah.
we want everybody to be themselves. So you be you,
Yeah.
and tell us the impetus.
I will. So a friend of mine who I know from my study biology, so for 42 years, she has a daughter, and her daughter was extremely creative and extremely gifted. But her primary school went well, but later on she got in several misery and trouble, getting worse and worse. And so she decided to end her life. And then a few weeks later, I was in my yoga lesson and we were in a sort of meditation. And then it seems that she appeared to me. And she said to me, somehow said, please write the book.
That's beautiful. Boy, I'm getting chills. So we have a little bit of spiritual giftedness happening, emotional overexcitability happening, and sort of a clear path, which is really a gift. Yeah. So this is in her honor, and hopefully, I would imagine, to avoid this in the future for other gifted, profoundly gifted, and 2E adults. So exactly. Give us the crux of the book. I really enjoyed how you set it up, where you sort of talk about how you know, or what it is to be gifted and twice exceptional or neurodiverse. And then you give a lot of relatable anecdotes. And then you talk about sort of like, what does this look like in work? And why is work kind of challenging, ironically, for such incredible people?
Yeah. So the main idea of the book is be yourself. Don't try to be average. Don't try to fit in. Because when you do that, you don't have enough energy left to adjust to other people. And when you are yourself, even when you're a bit of a bird of a rare feather, then you have still some energy left to bridge the gap between you and other people. So, for example, your timing, your word choice, or whom are you speaking to? Things like that. And then you can be able to make your own path in life and work.
Yeah, you know, on page 18 of the book, you have a chart that juxtaposes what the work environment signals and what the employee themselves point out. So there's 3 of them that I want to share with readers, and hopefully somebody behind the scenes is posting this chart for you all to see in the comments. But on the work environment, many conflicts with management and authority. So says the employer about the 2E employee. Many conflicts with management and authorities. But the employee is thinking, I have a strongly developed sense of justice. Right? We don't want to have to compromise our strong sense of justice, nor should we have to compromise. And then another example is that motives are difficult to fathom, what's behind it. And the employee is thinking, apparently I'm a threat to my colleagues, which is of course not what she or he or they meant in the first place. And then it is not easily approachable, does not socialize. And how many of you out there can relate to this? You hate small talk. Oh my gosh, we were just doing an improv class last night as part of the conference. And that was one of the things that came up, is the hate of small talk. We all know that. So all of these things affect us in the workplace as well as in our lives. This is so timely, Frans, because actually my blog this month that will be coming out in a few days is talking exactly about this and how this all starts, this pattern of trying to hide yourself or fit in starts as a child, and then we act it out as a grown-up. And one of the questions that I really ask teachers and clinicians and parents is the behavior that's triggering you in your gifted or 2E child. Would it be an awesome thing if they were a grown-up? Because we want people who think outside the box. So, all right, so tell us a little bit, you work with and advise adult clients on how to succeed in work, how to find their authentic self. Tell us a little bit about that, Frans.
Well, quite a lot of my clients have a burnout or bore-outs, and quite often we see that they can't go on with the function they are in. So they have to find something else. And they think, what can I do? What is my future in work? And most of the time, they're too much emphasizing what they can do. And I invite them to see what they want to do. What do they like to do? And start from that. And don't start from what is your usefulness and what are your competencies. It's not really important, because when people are so clever and so gifted, when they really like to do something, they have quite a good chance to make a success of it.
Yeah, and I think that working in your passion place, that's the gold standard, right? So getting into flow. And it's interesting, this is another thing that we talk a lot about with clients is so often we're told, do the hard stuff first, get it out of the way, because you're not going to have as much attention later, particularly if you're identified with ADHD. But the truth is, get the wheels greased. Start in something you love and it gets your flow going. The way that I talk to my clients about it is I ask them, do you like to, if you have a plate of food in front of you, do you save the best to last, or do you dive right in and get a little bit of that yummy stuff before you got to do the other stuff, right? It's also why I recommend for parents sometimes to give their kids who have a hard time eating dessert first. Get that appetite ready, right?
And what you say is very true. And also the communication gets better with other people. When you speak from your flow, from what you like to do, it goes much better than you speak in objective terms, because most people don't like objective things, facts, and so on. They want to see passion. And when someone has a passion about facts, that's okay, but show the passion first and then the facts.
Yeah, that's right. So Frans's advice is get into that passion place that you love. Don't save it for last. I have clients who will tell me that they love what they do, but they are so exhausted by the time they get home that they just lay on the couch, lights off, maybe pet the dog. And that's kind of like, that's not, in my opinion, it's not, it's just not filling yourself back up. It's just kind of status quo, making it so you can do more of the same thing. You're not lit from within. Maybe you're lit from outside, but you got to light from it within.
Yeah, and you were also speaking about discipline, and I have a section in my book about alternative discipline. So we all know the standard discipline doesn't work for most of my clients, and also not for me. So my discipline for the book was start with the pictures, start with the illustrations. And of course, most people would say that's nonsense. You can't start with the illustration. You have to do the book first, and then somebody will make the illustrations. But for me, this was a better way.
That's really funny. Oftentimes when I speak with teachers, I'll say, don't make them save the PowerPoint till last, if that's what they love, because what you're doing is you're organizing your thoughts in a way that's creative and gets your juices flowing. So, all right, one more time, here's Frans's book. And you can go to 2eresources.com where you'll find all sorts of resources listed by category. Frans will be under, Frans, how are you? Consultants, under consultants. We also have clinicians, we have education, we have associations, we have enrichment. So learn about everybody and head over to Frans's listing so you can find how you can get this book and find all sorts of resources for you and your family or your classroom. And Frans, thank you so much for joining us all the way from the Netherlands. Of course, we're all on virtual, so who knows where anybody is, but
Okay.
any last minute something you want to share with us?
Yeah, I would like to share that we only we do the shipping for only €6, so that saves a lot.
That's
It will
great.
be slow shipping. It can last to 4 weeks, but we will happy to our bookshop here. Our local bookshop will do the shipping for me. So from here, it will be shipped to whatever in the world.
That's great. Oh, look at this illustration, guys. I have to share one more. It's so cool. All recycled materials.
Yeah, that's the one I showed you. Yeah, that's this
that
one.
it? Oh, it's so funny. I love it. That's the
the
tail.
tail.
That's the tail. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, for listening at 2E Resources, and for supporting and guiding gifted, profoundly gifted, and 2E adults. Thanks, Frans.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thank you. Take care.